Hello, people, and welcome to this first in a epic series of Ultimate Street Football podcasts. I'm Dan, your host, and I'm going to be taking you on a journey week by week through street culture, street football culture all over the globe. And where better to start than Amsterdam and with the Godfather himself, Mr. Edward van Gils. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be the first, and I'm very curious where this is going. I think it's been long overdue that street football got a different platform than only social media,
Definitely.
or maybe even better said, like TikTok and Instagram. So no, I'm ready.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, you're no stranger to the screen and the court, of course. So you've done this in various ways and shapes, I'm sure, before, your story, telling your passion, your energy, and we're going to uncover that again for the purposes of this. But
Yep.
I'm going to start with something a bit more fun. So let's firstly go in. So we're today talking street football. We're going to come into the definitions of that in your experience and your beliefs. But first of all, you've been everywhere. Like literally, I don't know a part of the world that you haven't been to. I'm sure there are, and we'll come
Yep.
to that. But I want to know, first of all, what are the five, if you can, five best courts, like vibe-wise or just experience-wise, where you've played yourself? Where are they in the world? Where should people go from your recommendation to play street football?
Good question, but also a little bit difficult because there's a lot of courts that I've played and they don't exist anymore. Excuse me. But I'm definitely gonna say two courts that's not here anymore because of renovations, different plans of the city. But definitely Europaplein in Rotterdam. There was a big tournament called In and Out tournament. That was one of the first huge street football tournaments where everybody from the whole country came to Rotterdam because it's in Rotterdam. If I'm not mistaken, the grand prize was 10,000 guilders back then. That was before the Euros, so that was also crazy for street guys.
The
But the prize,
first sign of showing your age there, Edward. First sign, if you're
yeah,
talking guilders.
yeah. Well, no, the first time was the salt and pepper beard.
Amazing.
No, but yeah, the in and out court, the tournament was insane because all the top guys came there. Some of them got sponsored, or people were like betting on teams where the guys that were betting were paying the players. Uh, there were so many people out there, on the sidelines watching, cheering, and everybody was not on their phones yet, so everybody was really in the moment. So yeah, it was amazing. It just gave you goosebumps just playing there. And then there was one court that was maybe even bigger than the In and Out tournament, and that was the Edgar Davids tournament. That was actually one of the first tournaments that I participated in. And that was also a tournament where you could make your name because all the top ballers were there. Everybody from the east side of Amsterdam came out, but even like people from Rotterdam, Almere, everywhere, all over Holland came to watch these local legends. Um, that's where we saw guys like Moussi Rebel, Jermaine Vandenberg, Izzy Hitman, Ori Stock, Jurek. All those guys came together over there, played together, but also against each other. And that vibe was amazing because it was in the middle of this neighborhood with a playground for children, where people had stands with barbecue and food and drinks, and there were fences around it. There was music. People were climbing in the fences, or like I don't know, pulling the fences and
Organic.
shouting.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
was that was our Champions League final.
Yeah.
So those two definitely. I've been to Colombia recently.
Hmm.
Uh,
Knew you were
in
going to say that.
Medellin.
Medellin, right? In particular.
That's crazy. That's like In and Out, Davids Cup combined. Going back to the 90s, people are also like very in the moment. Everybody's really living the games, and they don't really, of course, they support a team, but it doesn't matter who pulls off a trick or does something amazing or scores an amazing goal. You will get your props.
Yeah.
The audience is ridiculous. So that's three. Ooh. Mm, could it also be like an event or more my like squares?
Really? Yeah. I'm thinking more. We want people to come into this scene more, right? So it's like where if they're traveling. I'm thinking you spent a lot of time in North America, right? In California, especially over in LA.
Yeah.
I'm imagining there's someone there. So people going to the World Cup, football fans, like maybe there's some street pickup games or things that they could stumble into.
Yeah. The
Just
thing
to,
is,
just to feed you some ideas.
because the courts that we normally go to are not like in the neighborhoods where everybody can go. Um, so that might make it a little bit difficult. But Hawthorne in LA
Mm,
is a court that I really like, but also because of just memories. But it has an amazing vibe. There's like three courts next to each other, and everything is occupied. There's a lot of people, like you don't see in Europe a lot anymore. The
yeah,
squares are quite empty at the moment. But in LA, it's beautiful weather.
yeah,
There's a lot of concrete. There's a lot of people that really, really love football. And also what I like in the United States is that people come and watch, and they take their chairs and like their those big coffee cans and stuff, and they just sit there for hours and watching people play. So that's definitely one that I like. And I've been to, and it might not be like the most crazy court in the sense of like a lot of people, but it did give me an amazing vibe. There was a rooftop court in New York City. I don't exactly know where it is. I think it's around Chinatown in New York City. It's from Talento.
It's that recently you went over there, right?
Yeah,
With Josh.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's super cool, and everybody breathes football.
yeah,
And it was also interesting for me to see how New York has changed over the years, especially football-wise.
yeah,
New York loves football.
yeah,
It's insane,
100%.
and everybody comes together. Where New York is very segregated,
Yeah,
but on this court, everybody comes together.
love it. No, we'll take them, and I will find the specific locations, especially there in New York, and I'll
Yeah,
post them down below for people
yeah,
to find.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's get into you. So this is the bit you've done a million times, but let's again, let's translate the streets here, Ed. Like we know you've been in the game since the beginning. Can you describe that for you? So in particular, what was the initial hook? Why street soccer? Why did this game absorb you and consume your whole life? What was the first moment, I guess, is the first question, and then tell us your journey, tell us your experiences.
It's a long story, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. But I think love for street football wasn't a choice at the beginning. I think every kid especially in Europe, and I also think they have the same culture in South America, is that if you go outside, you play with your friends. The most common thing is that you pick up a ball and you go play football outside. So that's the beginning of street football. Um, I fell in love immediately. I was crazy about street football. I loved the ball. I just loved being outside, kicking the ball around. But especially because I had a quite difficult childhood, so that was my safe spot.
Yeah.
So whenever I was touching a ball, and I was thinking about nothing else than football. So I think that's why street football at a very young age was very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got into club football, like around the age of 13, 14. Some professional clubs showed some interest. I think I was around 13 when I got invited for trials for the U14, U15 for the Dutch national team.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like street football. I got this coach. I had a position, uh, and I felt more like being like a robot. You know, have to do what the coach tells you to do, and that's it, basically it. So I
Yeah.
was not playing for myself anymore, but I was playing for a coach that had an idea of how to win the competition. So at that time, I was like, I don't feel comfortable with football anymore. It was more like a job than anything. And then I think around 18, I made a mistake because I was with one leg in street football and the other leg I was on the streets. So I also did some things that I'm not really proud of. And one of those things ended my football career. But I wasn't depressed about it, or I didn't feel sad about it because I didn't feel comfortable. Like I said, it wasn't the football that I knew from when I
Mhm.
was a young kid.
Yeah.
So I went back into the streets, left the professional career aside. But then I had another problem. I haven't played street football for a long time because I was playing 11. And at that point, there was a lot of guys that only played on the street, and they had this way of playing where they were magging a lot of people or just waiting for people to grab the ball and then try to beat them. And I was like, oh, this is quite difficult because I was a number 6. I was a defender, just grabbing balls and distributing them. And now I needed to be a playmaker. And I just couldn't do it. I could not respond to the opponents like all the other guys did. And then for my luck, the End One mixtapes, the street basketball, hit the market, hit the streets. And I was watching it. And at one point, I was watching these moves and I was like, wait a minute, this is totally different. And I'm not waiting for the defender. I'm taking charge and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get into his mind and I'll be the puppet master.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do that. So I was like getting all these moves, like, and it was VHS back in the day. So I had to play, pause, play, pause, just
Amazing.
understand what they were doing. And I translated everything into street football. And all of a sudden, I had something totally different, totally new. And that's how I made my name on the streets because they saw this bold white little guy doing some crazy stuff that I've never seen before. And yeah, that was the beginning of an amazing career. That was from there on. It was a snowball.
Yeah. Superb. Amazing. Amazing. And one mixtapes we keep talking about. We will do even more of this, and I'm sure we already are, right, with
Yeah,
with everything ISFA. Um, how do you keep finding optimism across your turbulent journey? Because that's just the beginning, right? You've just touched upon, and I know I've been privileged to know you for a long, long time, and it's a roller coaster. We've both been through so much. What keeps you coming back to the streets every time? Like this calling, I guess. What is it about the culture, the community, the game that keeps you there, keeps you grounded?
it's funny. I recently had this conversation with my daughter because I'm 49. My body aches like everywhere. There's not like one piece of my body that I don't feel. Um, and she was like, "Yeah, but maybe you should get fit or do some more." And I said, "I don't think that's it. I played like 7 8 hours a day for what is it, like 30 years in a
Hmm.
row, no stop." And I was like, and you know what the worst thing is? I am afraid now. What's going to happen if I cannot play anymore?
Yep.
Who am I? Um, because, like I said, football is my safe zone, but it's actually running away from the problems that life brings. So, what keeps me optimistic? I don't think it's being optimistic. I think I'm still running for traumas from when I was younger, and there's only one thing that helps, and that's playing football. I just
Yep.
want to play, man. I don't care who's the best. I don't care who's the champion. I do care about winning, because all the games that I play, I do want to win, definitely. I don't care about my numbers on social media. I don't care about sponsorships. Nothing for me is just taking away the pain, man. That's the only thing.
Okay.
And when I'm playing, I'm getting all these things that I didn't get as a child. When I'm doing something crazy, the crowd cheers, and that's like an arm around my shoulder. When I'm with my teammates, for me it's war. I'll die for the guys that I play with, because we're friends. We are loyal to each other. We fight for each other. That's also something that I don't know from when I was growing up as a
Yeah.
child. Um, Having a victory, winning prizes, raising that cup, that gives me some sort of, how do you say that I matter,
Yeah.
uh,
Validation or yeah,
validation.
purpose.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. So all the things that I missed out as a child, street football gives it back to me, um, and that's why I'm also always very humble, because
Mm.
wherever I go, people are like, "Oh, you're very humble. I didn't thought you would be like this." But for me, it's like, okay, I know how to play football, but maybe you're good with numbers. Maybe
Hmm.
you're good with languages, whatever. I'm not any different from you. Um, and that's because I don't see it as an achievement. I just still see it as being this little kid.
Yeah. Amazing. But that's also, I guess, what I want to try and bring out from this whole series as well. But in general, like you're the pinnacle of this. Like literally from day one of meeting you, it kind of clicked in my brain anyway that these values that you're talking about, they translate to every walk of life. The problem is that they don't see it when you just see a game, because it's just a game to the outside world. It's like, well, how can you make a living and a lifestyle around kicking a ball around? And again, you're being humble, and your humility is shining through again, because you have worked with some of the biggest events, biggest brands on this planet, and they clearly got it. Maybe getting it, keeping in is difficult. Um, but let's just come on to that, if that's all right now, because that, all those values, it's about resilience, it's about getting into the flow, it's about finding validating yourself and your self-worth. Everyone struggles with that. Some people go swimming and they find their flow and they can get into to their way of working. Some people literally, as you said, love numbers, and they'll be crunching numbers and
Yeah.
spreadsheets, and that's their thing, right? So everyone's got their own thing. But um, so let's look at the brands that you've worked with, and especially more recently, like who is right now, in your opinion, understanding that in terms of values and working with the street football culture that's out there. Are there any organizations that you think get it, and why? Like, what is it that they're doing to prove that they understand the culture?
It's difficult,
Hmm.
Dan, because I think at this moment we live in a different time. Because back in the days, commercials were big, billboards, anything really. But that changed, and now we got influencers, right? So a lot of companies, they have this marketing idea, and they use influencers to get the message out there. Where back in the days, they saw something and they were like, "Oh, this is interesting for marketing," and then they ask you for a commercial or whatever. Now they're picking your brain, take a model for the commercial. They give you a shoe or a shirt for you, putting something on your social media channel. Obviously, the bigger channels, they get a lot of money, but I find it quite difficult to work with big companies. So what I do now is, when I'm talking to a company, I'm just looking if it fits me, and if it doesn't fit me, I don't do it. A great example: I've worked with Nike for 20 years, and at one point I broke the relationship, and not because I have a problem with Nike, but because it didn't feel right. I have an obligation to the streets,
Yeah.
to the kids that look up to me. The matches that I send out, I need to be authentic and I need to live my words. And back in the days, Nike understood. So Nike is really one of the few big companies that really penetrated into street football. And the reason why is because they were not like, okay, we want you to do this, this, and that. They were asking us, okay, what can we do? We think this is cool, and but it went hand in hand. And
Yeah.
they also said, okay, we want to get this out of it. We want to increase sales. We want to sell these shoes or these clothing line, whatever. So it was clear. So no secret doors. And then they say, okay, this is what we want. What can we do for you guys in return? And that's where we said, okay, we need a platform. And then hand in hand, we thought about some ideas. We came up with Panakeo. They gave us a platform. They kind of made like superstars out of it, us, and they got the sales. So it was a good thing. Now a lot of companies they tell you what to do. This is the format. You do the format. Jump in. You get this shoe. You got to play on this shoe because we need to have it on video. Once we're done, we pull the plug and we never see you guys again. That's unfortunately the reality in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I feel that Red Bull at the moment has it a little clearer. We're more in conversations. Okay, what works, what doesn't work. They're bringing some street guys for consultancy.
Nice.
How should we approach this? How should we communicate? So that's already better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I like
I
that. I think that you for me that's two of the key things is what I was kind of hoping I guess you would say as well, that the communication clearly
yeah
has to be two-way,
yeah
and that's super important. But the exciting thing as well that I think you said, apart from the size of Nike, Red Bull in those two examples, but actually that leaves a lot of space for the smaller brands, right, and the smaller organizations and destinations to start to interact and to work with this, because I guess when they're seeing it so prominently, it's on every social channel now, like street skills everywhere, right? It's just viral content, as you said earlier, it's everywhere. So that comes, however, with then an anticipation from the corporate world that actually that's going to be quite expensive. So potentially they're trying to come up with their own ways to make it cheaper for them. But that's the opposite, right? It looks good, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's laziness
Okay.
because they do hire for a lot of money agencies, and the agencies go around the courts and they pick these kids' brains.
Yeah.
They take the information from the players. They're not even affiliated with the sport. They get the information, pass down the information to a big company. They get paid. Where the athlete or the kid or whatever maybe gets a shoe or a shirt.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to change, in my opinion. But I don't point a finger at the companies because I understand the company is a company and not a human being, so they got to make a profit. It's as easy as that. A consultancy or any agency in between, I cannot blame them either.
Mm-hmm.
Also, business. Where I think the problem is in the street football culture. FOMO is so big in street football that we rather take a shoe or a shirt than to wait and make sure that we get the prices up, or we make agreements amongst each other like, listen, we're not doing it for shirts anymore because we're getting pimped, and it's as easy as that. And again, not pointing any fingers to the companies or the agencies, but we want to have those numbers so bad. It's more important than money, but there's only a few people that can convert the followers into money. So end of the day, what are you doing? Let's be honest. You can have your momentum. You can have 100,000 followers for maybe 5 years, and then what? Then the next kid comes. We don't even celebrate, let's say, Michael Jackson's birthday or when he died. So who are we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're all fighting for something that doesn't last for a long time, doesn't make you any money. So I think the street football community should say, listen, this is ours. like skateboarding. They
Yeah.
don't let anybody in. It should fit or not, and they should listen to the community or the culture.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't do it. You know what? You don't want to do it. We just make our own brands.
Yeah.
Street football don't have their own brands. There's no ecosystem in street football. We don't we don't make jerseys. We don't make shoes or balls. And if we do, we don't want to buy it from one of each other because you don't want the guy grow too big, because then you gotta run even more
Yeah.
because the gap is getting bigger between your followers and somebody else. And I think that's super weird.
Yeah.
You know,
Really, really powerful. I mean, there's some strong message in there that yeah, let's see, because it's become an idealism, I guess, unfortunately, because it's become more populated and more people, and everyone is very selfish in their time and focus, I guess. Yeah.
nobody wants to be the wingman anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not only in street football, the culture, but it's also in football itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like we have one superstar. We just fight for the ball and we're going to give it to that guy. No, even a coach is like, oh no, it's a team. There's nobody bigger than a team. I don't agree, but if you have a phenomenal player like Maradona, what do you mean nobody's bigger than the team? You know what I mean? Just do your work, grab the ball, give it to Maradona. You're gonna win. It's as easy as that.
Exactly.
And it's the same with squads and communities. There's one guy that might be better. There's one guy that's stronger in communication. Make sure that you get the right people on the right places, the same as in a regular team. And I think, the community should look themselves in the mirror and say, something is wrong. You
Yeah.
know, we need to change as a community and have a stronger, how do you say that, door policy for big brands or brands in general.
Yeah. Really nice. Thank you, mate. That's powerful. Okay, let's mix things up. We're
Yep.
going to go interesting again. So La Casa de Van Gils is hosting a dinner party. You got 5 invites. You can invite anyone, past or present, now, celebrity, baller, doesn't matter. Who would you have around that? Who would you want to invite to a dinner party at your house, and why?
I would like to invite my dad. My dad passed away when he was 42, and I was around 19, 20 years old. And we had a very difficult relationship. And I had an image of my dad that I created with my little teenage brain. Obviously, because of the things that happened. But as a little kid, I don't think you will ever think about, okay, where does this come from? And now when I'm older, I understand that every behavior comes from something or somewhere.
Yeah.
And I never got a chance to sit down with my dad and just have some honest conversations, trying to understand where things came from. Why did you do what you did? Positive and negative, obviously, because obviously was not always negative. I had some amazing moments with my dad too. So yeah, definitely a chat with my dad.
Love that.
Yeah, so I would definitely want to invite my dad. Then I would definitely have a chair for my wife, because she's the most important thing for me in my life. I also think I would not be able to achieve what I achieved without her. She, how do you say that? She showed me what life is about, family life, eating on a dinner table instead of with a plate in your hand, standing in front of the television. So definitely those two. Who else?
Tough one, eh?
Brother.
Who would
I'd like to
provoke some
invite Jesus.
conversation? Sorry.
I would like to invite Jesus.
Okay.
I got so many questions for him.
Yeah.
But I also would like to thank him in person for the blessings that he gave me and for the beautiful things in life and for me to breathe. And that's a personal thing, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody believes in something else.
Yeah.
I respect that, and I will never go into a discussion with anybody, because the way that somebody believes in Allah is how I believe in Jesus. So, you know, a discussion is going to be impossible, because
Yeah.
we believe the same way, and that, you know, that is what
100%.
it is. So,
Yeah.
and I definitely respect everybody's religion. But I would like to, yeah, ask him some questions. And again,
It's your dinner party. It's your house.
yeah,
You've got
there you go, there you
everything.
go. Who else? Um, Interesting, brother. I don't know.
All right, you can have a
I
more.
guess that's it.
Yeah, let's have a more intimate four person, including
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Okay, now we're going to take a different turn and put a spin on, I guess, negativity. But let's look at some of the down moments in the street football experience. So not the life experiences. So some of the moments where maybe you've questioned, like, what the heck are you doing, or people that have let you down, or places that just weren't right. Are there any kind of worst experiences that spring to mind from your over your career in street football?
Man, street football is a roller coaster. You know, it's like being in Six Flags, man. No, of course.
And
I
of course,
think
we're talking
that,
about lessons, right? So we're talking about that in the context of like, what
yeah,
wouldn't you do again, type thing. So.
yeah. Our problem is that we were pioneers, first of all.
Mhm.
So there were no prices. We didn't know if we did something. Somebody said, "Okay, what does it cost?" I don't know. I have no clue. We were born before social media, and we also played street football before social media. You did have like LimeWire and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know if you remember those things that
yeah,
you had
yeah,
to
absolutely.
upload like a video or music, and then somebody else could download it, and you had to find it somewhere. It was
Yeah.
quite difficult. And when we started playing, we realized we were doing something special. We understood that, so we want to keep it to ourselves. Um, Obviously, we did travel, but we noticed that if we played somebody for the first time, it was the craziest thing that happened, because nobody's seen it before, right? So in that time, it was maybe easier for us to do those skills, because nobody knew them, and we had like this crazy reaction of an opponent, because, you know, if we did something very small, they were running into the stands, because they were like, "What is going on?" So we wanted to keep that for ourselves, because we were underground, we were street, and it was kind of similar to hip hop. Um, Hip hop wanted to keep it underground, and if you went to the big stages or to a different audience, even, right, you were a sellout. We had the same feeling. So once the first guys, you know, took out the cameras, we were like, no, 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 no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to film ourselves, and we're not going to put it on internet. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
And we always said, like, I don't have a clown, or you know, I'm not a clown. I don't have a red nose. I'm not a clown. But then the second generation did what we did, but they started to put it on camera and put it on. I think it was YouTube at the beginning. And then all of a sudden, these guys got the attention, and we're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? We're the ones that created it, you know. We're the real ones. Well, what's going on here?
Right.
And it's similar now to the how do you say, the hardcore street football players and the influencers, kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
But these guys took off, and they got the jobs, they made money, you know, they were in the papers and on TV, and we were still at the courts.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something where we made a big mistake. Well, I still don't know if it's a mistake, to
Yeah.
be very honest.
Yeah.
But
And there's also shining examples, right? I know someone very dear to your network and heart in Jack Downer, for example, who kind of gets both ends of the spectrum, right? He's kind of played that game, but also I would just remember you describing when he came and trained with you at the Dome there, and the value, what the curiosity and the hunger to learn, and the values that you stood for. It can be both. It's just that there's a whole, the majority, unfortunately, just think about themselves and popularity. So
yeah, I think Jack is a great example. Jack works his ass off, and obviously he's an influencer. But I think he's an athletic influencer. So he's an athlete number one and an influencer number two. And what I like is that, and I'm not talking about every influencer, obviously, but a big bunch of the influencers, they know the tricks and they can do amazing stuff, stuff that I cannot do. But put them in a game and they choke because they don't know how to use the spaces. They don't know when to do the trick, in what position or in what situation. And then it gets tricky. And it was like, you got 5 million followers. you get the Nike job or the Adi job. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Jack, he does all that stuff, but when you put him on a court in Colombia, he holds his own.
Yeah.
He does what he needs to do, and I really love that, and I really respect that from him. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Let's move on.
But no, I wanna.
Okay, good. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah. No, because I think it's important. I think it's a very important thing because there's also a lot of inspiring. No, how do you say that? Kids that want to become a street football player.
Yep.
They also got to understand there's not a lot of people making money out of street football.
Yeah.
And like I said, also like influencers, they got a lot of numbers, but they don't know how to convert into do money. But there's also a lot of traps. And I still learn. I think it was 2018. We went with Ronaldinho into India for 6 weeks, and we were supposed to get this huge amount of money, and we were like, "Whoa, we got to do this." We're with Ronaldinho. It's going to be safe. Nobody's going to con Ronaldinho. It was a huge event. And then we came there, and then with different hotels. We were in a hotel every morning. We had rice with some sort of meat, and every day it was the same. Drinks, only water. And we're like, what is this? We looked out of the window. It was right next to this garbage pile, like huge garbage, and we were playing for 3 weeks, and then we were like, can we get the money? And I said, yeah. And then the manager came down and said, yeah, we got a problem. They don't want to pay. And we were, what? They don't want to pay? And then we were like, then if they're not going to play, we pull out, and we're not going to play anymore until they made our money. But they were all managers that was bringing all these South American players, European players, and all the players were, let's have a strike. But the managers were like, no, you guys are going to play. Why? Because if we will play and get the money, they will get paid.
Sure.
All these guys were afraid of the managers. And even our guy told us, like, no, you got to play, because otherwise the big guys also don't get paid, because then the whole tournament is done. So what I'm trying to say, long story short, is that in a lot of situations you also have like this pressure from other people, and they tell you, no, it's going to be fine, do it first and then you will get paid. Don't do that. Get your money first, at least half or something, then you do what you need to do, and then you get paid. And if they say, no, we want you to play first, why do you want me to play first? It's the same risk, I play first and then get the money, or you pay me and I play. It's both not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit somewhere 6 weeks anymore and I don't get a penny. I didn't get anything. And that was a horrible situation, because I also didn't get any money in those 6 weeks when I was working at my office. I left my family home for 6 weeks. So don't trust everybody.
Yeah.
Rather trust your dog, and that's it. Make sure that you get your money. Also, don't fall in the trap where what also a lot of people do, yo, if you do this and this for me, I'll make sure you get exposure. I'll make sure that you get another job. It's all bullshit.
It feels like we have a kind of annual. We should make it a tradition. If we have an annual catch up on various different things, and it feels like it's every year there's a new agency or a new agent or someone that has done exactly what you've just described, and
Right?
because we believe in what we're doing, it's like everyone falls into the trap time and time again. But surely it's just an extension of knowing your own self-worth. It's not about being arrogant or upfront. It's just, this is what it takes to do this properly. Are you going to listen, or are you going to tell us what to do? And it's back to what you were saying earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last thing, there's one more trap that I wanna expose is you kind of mentioned it already, is where people ask you for something. They say, "Yo, we got this event. We want you to do, I don't know, a halftime show, or I don't know, play around with the kids, whatever." Okay, cool. What is your price? You give him an hour rate, and he's like, "Yeah, but it's only 20 minutes." Okay, what time do you want me to be there? 12 o'clock. Okay, what time do I need to perform? 3 o'clock. When can I leave? 5. Okay, how long is the driving distance? Yeah, hour and a half. Okay, so you want to pay me for 20 minutes for 7 hours? No, 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 it's only 20 minutes. No, I'm driving an hour and a half. I'm waiting 2 hours. Then I gotta wait until everybody's done and the security can bring me to the door. Then I gotta drive another hour and a half. You gotta pay me for 7 hours. No, that's too much. Okay, then we don't do it. And a lot of these kids, they're like, okay, let's do it, because they just want to do that gig. You know, if it's at a EA party or at a Champions League game, whatever. Make sure that you get something in return right away, because you don't know what's coming next. And people like to do that, you know. And I freaking hate it. They take so much advantage of some of these guys. So, no, not 10 minutes. When you leave the door and you get into the door, that's the time that you're busy.
Love that. Very, very important words that hopefully the community can start to reflect on and implement. Amazing. Thank you. Okay. So let's then flip the coin. So that's based on obviously some negative experiences that you've had and more. Let's go to the highs now. So this is obviously, again, your passion and your love, but there's must have been countless moments where you're like, damn, I've made it, or damn, this is insane. Just like the wow, jaw-dropping moments. You mentioned Medellin, that experience of there. Give us a couple of high moments where you've really just like, oh, this is insane. You're just having the time of your life, kind of in the zone. And I don't want to put words in your mouth because I know some of them, and I'm resisting to.
Well, first of all, David's Cup. It was big for me because I had a difficult journey in football, and now I knew I was at the right place on concrete, small-sided, being with my peers. And we were playing David's Cup, which was the most difficult tournament ever. There were so many amazing teams. And then end of the day, we won. And that obviously is a huge success already, but I became best player. And because of that, Nike sponsored it. You could get like a small budget, 500 guilders, to get some stuff at Nike headquarters. That moment for me, it was like, I'm a professional football player. I just won the Champions League and I got a bonus.
Yeah.
That feeling I will never forget. After that, I discovered the clamping, and I perfected it so well that I was doing it at one of the bigger events, and I think it was In and Out, if I'm not mistaken, or also David's Cup. And once I did that, the crowd reaction, I've never had anything like that. Not even in a stadium with 5,000 people. The way that people just climbed over the fences, with running with their hands on their heads, like across the court, and the music stopped, and the MC was like just shouting and yelling, and I got that was my first fix of street football that I still compare to like your heroin fix. You know, it was like I need to have this every day. So that was definitely a moment. Becoming world champion in the World Street Threes. That was definitely a moment because that was one of the first like World Cups.
Yeah.
It wasn't really like a World Cup already, but it
It
had
was a warm up for what you're doing now, right? It was a
yeah, well, a warm up. The level was amazing, so don't
yeah,
get me wrong. But obviously, we only had 8 spots, so you
yeah,
cannot like get in 32 teams. So, but we still had the states represented. Europe was represented real well. I think we had the better street
yeah,
football teams at that time.
yeah,
So it kind of felt like a World Cup. So that was a huge thing for me. Getting the call, oh no, getting the WhatsApp from Ronaldinho's team for Ronaldinho's Globe Street team. That was big. I couldn't believe it. I was like, somebody is joking with me, so I had to verify it. Signing obviously for Ronaldinho's team because that to me was the biggest thing you could achieve.
yeah.
That was bigger than me than money. Um, Doing Nike commercials in the United States. We did 11 commercials in 2004 or 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't know.
And they were broadcasted ESPN, in the big stadiums, but also national TV, everything. That was huge for us. That was our first trip, you know.
Yeah,
So that was crazy. Obviously, we did FIFA Street. And FIFA Street was also a thing where we were like, okay, you cannot pay us what we want you to pay us, but give me a platform
yeah,
and then it's fine. So we wanted them to put our names in the games. So we were the first guys to have a character in a game. So that was huge. What else? What else? What else?
Mhm. Too
Uh,
many. That's
Say what? Yeah, but
incredible. It's
street football
incredible.
gave me so much.
Yeah,
But now I'm just talking about these things, right? Um, but it's also amazing what a ball can do for you if you're in a country you cannot speak the language. You
mm,
kick a ball, he passes it back. We're communicating.
yeah,
Being on a court in LA where they release pit bulls on you, where they're like, "Yo, who's this white guy? Get out of our neighborhood," because we were in the hood. Once you start playing, immediately accept it. Like,
yeah.
"Oh, who's this guy? We're friends." So it just totally changed my life. In so many aspects. So yeah, so many beautiful things. It's too many to just.
No, no, no. It's a series. I think. I guess that's the way I feel as well about it. There's just a series of moments, right, and experiences that turn into memories, that turn into your life, and that's kind of been that ball has been by your side the whole time. So
Yeah, yeah, and to be very honest, we always focus if we look at sports in a medal or in a cup or
mm,
in what place did you end up, but growing up as a kid and don't really have like a stable family or people to take care of you, and now all of a sudden you guys are like 24, 25. We're in Bonaire with all these guys that we were playing on the street for the last 10 years, and we really became family. And now we're done with the trip and everybody is totally worn out. Everybody's running to the beach. There's no light anymore. The sun is down. You take off your shirt and everybody jumps in the water, and you come out of the water and you look at your guys and you're like, I created a family around me which is so valuable. I can call these guys in the night and they
mhm.
will pick up. If my daughters have any problems, they call my friends and they make sure that it's all right. So that is maybe a bigger achievement than any cup that I won.
Yeah, finding the family. Love that.
Just the
Amazing.
relationships that you build, the people that you meet, the life lessons that you learn being in a favela and see this little kid playing without shoes, and he still has this huge smile on his face where you just nagging about your phone bill or whatever, something totally
Yeah,
irrelevant, and this kid is hungry. You can hear his belly roaring. But once he sees the ball and he just has this moment with you where you listen to him and you have this conversation with the little kid and you just kick the ball around, you learn so much from other people, other people's cultures, other religions, other, just being in a different place. And I think that is the biggest um, reward I got from street football. Just developing as a human being.
Incredible. Amazing. Well, before the final, I was going to ask for any last kind of messages that you want to put out there for the. There's so many messages of for the community now in particular. Do stop me if there's anything else you want to add as a final note. But to finish up with the last little quirkiness of this is now street football. Obviously, it's a game of football at the end of the day, and so the correlation between the 11-a-side game and the streets has always also been kind of in question, let's say, because no one, they assume if you can play on the 11-a-side pitch, you can play in the streets. And you've already said, that was the hardest transition, was almost to come back to the street, right?
Yeah.
Give me 5 players. I love the number 5 for some reason today. In the professional football game that you think, from your experience as well, who get it, who translate the streets, and at least they understand the difference between the street culture and the 11-a-side game. Who currently playing would you say is in that kind of
Currently playing?
Ideally, if there's a few, Ronaldinho, right? He's always had it. We know that.
Yeah, but also Zlatan.
Zlatan as well. Okay.
Yeah, also Zlatan. He embodies street football in a way. Just his attitude and his cockiness and the belief in himself. I think especially believing in yourself is huge on the streets.
Yeah.
And I think Zlatan is amazing. But no, for now. Yamin Lamar, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
it's like I'm looking at a court, right?
Right.
And also, a lot of people, they kind of start nagging about the way he presents himself, or let the guy be.
Yep.
The most creative people are people you just leave him. Just don't try to change creative people. They're just different. And also, I think we miss out a lot of talent because there's so many creative, talented guys who are a little different. They think different. They have a different attitude. 9 out of time, not the most easy attitude. And a coach doesn't want to spend his time on a headache case. And I think that's a shame, man. Not everybody is just silent, keeps their mouth shut, and execute the plan of a coach. 9 out of 10, the players that make a difference, they got a mind of their own. Just leave them be, man. But then again, nobody's bigger than the team. Again, I don't believe in that. I think it's just an excuse for a coach to make his work easier.
100%. I think it's the same in schools as well, right? I think it's easy to brandish someone who's got, you've got ADHD because you've got too much energy, and yet you give them a ball or you give them a swimming pool. It's hyper focus on something that they want to do. So I feel like you almost have to be neurodiverse. You have to be autistic on some level to be a good athlete ultimately. So why are we trying to presume that everyone should be the same?
That. And I also, of course we need structure, of course we need discipline, but what were the most successful teams in sports? And look at the personalities in that team. I think the 90s Brazilian teams were incredible. There's not a lot of teams that achieve what they achieved or played the way that they played, because it's not only about winning a cup, but also about entertaining the crowd, right? All those guys were a headache, at their clubs. Everybody was struggling with those Brazilian guys, but put them in a team and that was magic.
Yeah.
Look at the Bulls in the 90s. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. What's the guy's name again? Dennis Rodman.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lunatic, but he was amazing. The guy slept in Vegas, woke up and came into the game and just killed it during the game. Not everybody needs the same preparation. I think even a team, you should look at the individuals that you have. And even though you're coaching a team, you also have to coach them individually and also understand where somebody comes from and why he acts the way that he does. And sometimes you just got to accept that he's a little crazy, or that sometimes he's a little late, or, Michael Jordan was smoking in the dressing room. What are we talking about? The biggest basketball player ever to live. And now we got all these coaches that want to have these robots on the bench and just let them do what they want to do. It's a coach game now. It's not a player's game anymore.
Yeah.
There's no space for creativity. There's no space for people that are a little different. And those are the people that you go to the stadium for. They will make the difference. Because at the end of the day, I think a tactic against a tactic, end of the day, it's played out, right? There's just so much you can do. And if the coach has this tactic, the other coach puts this tactic against it. So end of the day, what's going to make the difference if that is stuck?
Yeah.
Creative player thinking outside of the box.
Yep. 100%. Yep. Love it. Well, I'm not letting you get away easy. So who have we had? Zlatan.
Jamal.
Yeah.
Man, I also love Mbappe. He reminds me of R9, and I was a big R9 fan. He's strong, he's fast, he's got the skill work. He's also he got a mind of his own. No, I love the guy, man. I really think he embodies street football. Who else do we have? I got 3 now, right?
Yeah.
The problem is I don't look too many 11-a-side. So what did you say?
That's an interesting concept as well, actually, because another assumption is that we're all crazy football fans as a result of working or playing in the streets, but it doesn't correlate, no?
I don't look at 11s. I don't look at futsal. I don't look at anything, really. No. Again, it comes back to why I started playing football and why I love it so much. I don't like to watch it. I don't like to be a coach. I just love playing football.
Nice.
That's it. I think it's boring, man. Looking at a team 90 minutes, 45, 2 times 45 minutes. I do watch World Cups and stuff like that, but I don't have the patience. I'd rather use that 90 minutes to play myself than to watch a game. Very
fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut us on that. That's gonna be your last statement, because I think that's beautiful. If anyone can take that away, is like, it's take control. Like you can sit and watch other people, other things happening around you, or you can get out in the streets and represent yourself and play and be curious and grow as a human. And that's certainly what you've been able to do over your career.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful.
So, now I got a question for you.
Go on then. Hit me up.
Because we know each other for a long time. What do you think makes me different than other street football players?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Love this, being put back on the spot. For fear of repetition, I'm going to just say, first and foremost, what you pointed out about yourself. So your humility, the honesty that you speak with. You've never once said, okay, whatever, Dan. Like you've never kind of dismissed or ignored ideas, but you've equally called my bluff. Like, if you don't believe in, I remember, Street Threes in Manchester, just the preparation of that. I had ideas of some countries that could be in, or some players that wanted to be there because they should be there, and you basically said it's going to be a nightmare, or shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. I think even that blunt, and I think your brute honesty with your humility is just very hard to replicate, and that's kind of why I will back up not only your statement, no, sorry, your title as Godfather of Street Football, but it's a very small family when you actually realize who gets it and who's got the values for it. So value driven, humility first, and brute honesty. That's going to be my answer for you.
Good. I like that. So thank you. I take that as a compliment.
100%. You should. It's amazing. Yeah.
Cool. I got more questions.
Keep going. We've got time.
Because I'm in the scene, right?
Mm.
So in a way, you're always colored, if you like it or not, right? Makes sense. It's like if I have this kid from Amsterdam, where I'm proud of, and he has to play this kid from Spain, somehow you kind of lean towards your own guy or the guy from Amsterdam. I have this idea about how street football evolved. What is your opinion about the way that street football evolved, and do you think it's getting better, or does it stay on the same spot?
It definitely doesn't stay on the same spot, in my opinion. I think the evolution comes in so many different ways and styles, and again, we've talked about this, but it's undeniable that social media has played a massive impact on how people are thinking and playing as well. I think that the games such as like Panakeo, like the Pano world, for example, has become very quick, fast-paced, that instant satisfaction or instant gratification moment that people are looking for on social media is designed for that. So I think people, myself included, in all honesty, were looking for ways of speeding up, always like speeding up the game. Like can a panna be a knockout in a 3v3 game, for example, or can it give you extra reward bonuses like in FIFA Street? And again, credit to you, like you've always just been like, you don't need that for the game to thrive. And so I've seen iterations and different versions of it, and people are adding extra goals now. So there's 3 goals in a game, and there's so many different ways that you can always evolve it. I personally really like that on an innovation front. I think that we should never, in the same way that we should not stop an individual be an individual. Like let the creatives be creative, as long as they're not telling you what to do, right? Like let's test a new format. Let's come up with something fresh. So I think, how fast-paced the world has become because of social. There's more formats, there's more ways of playing, but the original, and by that I'm specifically looking at the Benelux area as kind of as holding on to the original style of Belgium and the Netherlands especially. The way you go out onto the court, and I mean, it's no secret, you win every event. Street Kings especially, but the Netherlands in particular, you've got a winning formula there, which is based on the original way of playing street football. And so with all the gimmicks and all of the evolutionary things, I think the original way of playing will never be outdated. It will always work. But yeah, to answer the question, I think it's evolved for. I don't want to take a side, whether it's for the better or for the worse, because as long as there's room for all of these styles of play to get on the court and battle it out, I think that there's a healthy competition always there.
Cool. Because I'm happy that you say that, because I totally agree with you, because I get this question a lot.
Yeah.
And I cannot say if it's better back then, is it better now? It's different, we had some advantages. The new generation had advantages. I think our advantage is that we were the first one, so it was easier for us to implement the moves in the game and to fake people. Because now it's everywhere, so a lot of kids see what's going on and they already know the moves before you do it. Then again, for them it's easier because they have everything on a screen and they can easily, copy it from somebody. They do tutorials, but people talk about it, so they get more information to do it.
Yeah.
Then again, the negative, or the not negative, I think what is not very good from that is that they get lazy in their creative process. We
Yeah.
had to think about a new move every time somebody did your move. Now they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They just get the information. So I don't think they have the same football intelligence as we had. So
Mm.
I think there's like everything has its plus and is minus, right? So I don't see what was better. It's the same like comparing a player. It's
Yeah.
impossible. You cannot do that.
Well, the only side to that, though, what you could say is the moments that you mentioned when you talked about being mobbed on the pitch for pulling out a move and everyone going, the game stopping. Those moments were like the foundational moments. So the first time an ACA 3000 was pulled out live,
Yeah,
or those kind of iconic tricks, they're not being created anymore. From what I
no,
can see, the iconic tricks are still being used by everyone, and people are desperately trying to evolve and come up with their own move and their own version, their own ACA. But they're taking influence from the entertainment world. From what I can see and feel, so they're coming up with quirky, like fun ways of making an ACA, but it's not necessarily effective or needed. But they just want to have that bit of moment of creation, right? So
yeah,
cool, do it, brilliant, but you're not seeing anything revolutionary. I haven't seen anything revolutionary in a long time in the
same,
game. So
same, same.
yeah,
So I would like to still say something
cool.
because also this is a long discussion and with a lot of people. Obviously, a panna is very big in our culture.
Hmm.
Um, People think I'm always hating against the pana guys because I'm not a big fan of implementing it in a traditional game.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, most of the time when I'm like, I wouldn't want to say negative, but like I'm cautious with some things is because I see the problem already coming.
Mm.
I think, and again, my opinion, I don't think you should focus on the pana too much. If you make it too important in a game, the focus is going to shift from either scoring. You see it in the pana culture also a little bit. So the focus is not on scoring anymore, but it's the pana now.
Yeah.
We gotta understand we live in a bubble. If we're in an event, we think the whole world is watching, but it's
Yeah.
like maybe 200 people from our community. But
Yeah.
we're in this bubble. Street football is the biggest sports in the world. Whatever we're doing is the truth. Once you either put like a bonus on a pana, everybody's going to go for the pana. So what's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen is going to slow down the pace of the game. So now you're going to have, if you play 3v3, three little games in one game.
Yeah.
So first of all, a different group of people is going to play the game because they think, hey, wait a minute, if I can do the pana now, I just make two panas, it's 2-0. So these guys might not know too much from playing in a team, but they
Mm.
can pana somebody. So we're going to have a different game. But again, you see it in pana KO. Once it got too big, people were standing on one leg. People were
Yeah.
hopping like a bunny on two legs. So it doesn't happen that much if you don't put the focus on pana and you focus on scoring. Now you gotta defend a goal instead of your legs. So what's happening? You want to block the shot. You don't want a guy to go around you. Instead of being focused, he's not going to put it through my legs.
Yeah.
So a way more dynamic game where you have way more opportunities to make somebody,
Yeah.
which is beautiful in the game if it's functional, than having three guys trying to make their opponent, where it's going to be very, how do you say it, static?
Yeah. Static.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
going to be very static. People don't want to watch it anymore. Then
Yeah.
you got three people in the stands, which is maybe a brother, a father, and a mother from one of the players,
Yeah.
And then we're bitching about we don't. Then we're nagging about we don't get any money from sponsorships. No,
Yeah.
because you not serving anybody. Nobody's coming to watch you. So apart from what you love and what you like, if you want to make a career out of it or you want to make it a business plan, you also got to think what somebody else likes. And then you got to find the truth in between. Okay, I don't want to sell out, but I do want to get a bigger audience. What do I need to do to achieve that?
Yeah.
And not only think about, wait a minute, I think this is cool, so everybody thinks it's cool. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that because you're going to change the freaking game.
Yeah.
And sponsors, they only sponsor the people watching. And if it's exciting, and
Yep.
even myself, if I'm in a game and I have this kid that only wants to, because this annoys me very much. If you have this game and there's one kid that just pulls out every trick in the book just to have this viral video, I'm out because there's no team play. It's not exciting. You don't get any goals. You just have this guy struggling to get that one move, and then he's gonna post it on social media.
Yeah.
That will ruin the game.
Fair. Very fair. I don't think there's, and especially the way you articulated that, it just makes complete sense. And you people, again, I hope are going to listen and take note when they're coming up with new formats and new ideas, because it's really important to keep not just the spirit of the culture and the game and the community, but to have a successful tournament or to play, especially for the organizers, because you could come up with great gimmicks, but if the audience are not going to enjoy it based on a very simple concept that you've just described, then it's going to fail, right? And so everyone's going to look silly on that side as well. So again, these conversations can happen at any time with the community. I love that part, how open you all are about talking, about being accessible to go through things. So let's see what comes next, hey? Let's see what the next fun iteration will be. But at least we know that you're going to stay true to the core and do your thing.
I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah,
that's it, man.
Amazing. Edward, as always, we could carry on. We will after this, I'm sure. But thank you so much for your time and your experiences. I'm just humbled by your presence always, and thank you for being you consistently. And what you've done for the world of street football is irreplaceable. So the legacy will remain forever for sure.
Really appreciate and thank you for the invite. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. So anytime you need me, hit me up on WhatsApp and we'll have a chat. And good luck with the format. I hope it's going to be successful, and I'll be definitely watching. I'd rather watch this than a football game.
Appreciate you. Okay, thanks everyone for listening to Ultimate Street Football. Stay tuned for more coming up across the street football culture all over the world. We'll speak to you very soon.